Guys, today we have another guest, and this guest in particular seems to be all about the comics. So if you guys are into comics, I think that you guys are going to love what's going on here. So, Josh, let's kind of start with you a little bit. Can you give us a rundown about what Comic Boxels is?
Definitely, and thank you very much for having us on here, man. So Comic Boxels is, my way of bringing my traditional comic book world that I've been part of for 20 years as an artist, writer, and publisher, and my network, into the NFT space. Up till now, I've been creating work for NFT projects, creating comic content, and this is sort of like our bridge to the trad comics. We are, it's an ecosystem and it's a publisher of. Sorry, my dog is over there.
I was like, hold on, wait, is somebody on like a little sprinkler or what's going on?
Yeah. It's a we're basically a publisher and a creator of NFT projects to enhance the comic book creative collectability and content space. We're releasing what we're doing is releasing a slate of comic. We're releasing a publishing slate versus a roadmap. We have because I come from the publishing background, we do publishing slate, movie slate.
Well, so when you're talking about like the slate, you're referring to like how there's like a Spider-Man edition, and you're like, okay, in this season we're gonna have, I don't know, like 5-6 editions or whatever.
Yeah, well, what I've done is I brought together people from the comic space to create a bridge that brings them to the NFT space, but we look at it on a case-by-case basis. How do we respect the NFT audience and use their talents best suited to create a product as an NFT? So we have we're starting with the PFP project from Agnes Garbowska, and Agnes is an awesome artist who's worked for every publisher. She's worked on Teen Titans Go, on all kinds of DC superheroes, Care Bears, My Little Pony. She's a New York Times bestselling artist. And she's doing a PFP project called Digidorables, which we'll definitely get into. And there is a Hoyt Silva here, is another amazing artist I've worked with for years on several comics. He's doing Heroes of Trilash with a co-creator, Trey Walker. And that's going to be this crazy RPG on Discord where he actually drew 250 one-of-one characters that are part of it. And then my personal online comic, Degen After Hours, that is going to be just straight up crazy, crazy NFT cameos for, having fun. It's a bar in the metaverse where NFTs go to chill because the space moves way too damn fast. And that's got all the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Wicked Craniums, Oni Force. I want to have everybody in there. And then we have and then the most traditional one that's our real main bridge to the traditional comic space is New Comic Book Day, and that's going to be where we take current existing comics and then as an upgrade to the collectability on that, we tokenize them. We pull out some of the key panels and animate them. We do we also have the covers animated, and you'll randomly purchase one of those assets while you also get a PDF of the comic on IPFS and some one-of-one art thrown into the mix, and we're going to simultaneously do art auctions with those too.
Ooh, okay.
So that's I want to get into that too, because that's a big sort of creator rights thing, kind of bucking the Marvel DC anti-NFT trend. And then that's our slate to start, and we're kicking it all off with the Genesis Comic Boxels. So these Genesis Boxels let you buy into the whole ecosystem. There's 6 different kind tied to the 4 different projects, and there's only 5,000 of them. So no matter which one you randomly get, you are plugged into the whole ecosystem. So you get access to the Discord, different drops we're going to do, merchandise we're going to do, and other event access we're working towards. But depending on which one you get a free mint on top of it for that project. So if you get a Digidorable Genesis Boxel, you're in our whole ecosystem, and you get a free Digidorable. And you get discounts on all the other stuff that we do too. So when you go, if someone was looking at, if somehow there was a Boxel Genesis box was still out there available, and you went to go buy a Digidorable or one of Hoyt's projects, you'd kind of have to decide, like, well, wait a minute, if I go buy the Genesis box, so I could get this mint for free. And that's kind of one thing we're playing with there. So
okay. No, that's spicy. I like it. So, Josh, I mean, we have a relationship. I know this guy. I talked to him a little bit behind the scenes here and there. But Agnes and Hoyt, let's get a little bit of a background from you guys. So, Agnes, we'll start with you. Do you want to give us just kind of a little bit about kind of what you do and why you're kind of getting involved in this Comic Boxels?
Yeah, of course. I would be more than happy to. Thank you so much for having all of us here. I'm super excited. For those of you who've never heard of me, my name's Agnes Garbowska. I come from comics and publishing, which I have been over 15, I would say closer to 17 years now. I started off in small press and I worked for most major publishers now. I've worked for Marvel, I've worked for DC on both DC Superhero Girls, Teen Titans Go, and other comics. My longest run was on My Little Pony, so I was on that for about 7 to 9 years, and then I also have done work in the new My Little Pony style, the Generation 5. So I've been in the industry a long time because I love storytelling. I have always loved finding new ways to tell stories, and that's actually what got my interest peaked in NFTs, because you could literally create worlds. You could do so much, and you could do it in a variety of ways that weren't available before. And a lot of what you can do also involves the community. And I really love the idea of having the community involved, building communities. So Josh actually found me because of a tweet. I was following.
We love Twitter.
I know. And I was trying to secretly start following people in the NFT community, because when I publicly went, oh my God, guys, artists, NFTs, they could change everything for us, I got attacked, man. Oh my goodness gracious. Apparently, people's kids can no longer follow me. I am a letdown. I disappointed them, and I've lost hundreds and hundreds of followers from just publicly saying I love NFTs, but I really see this as the future, especially for creatives like myself. And what you can do with it is extraordinary. So me and Josh have been talking about working on something together. Our goals completely aligned because our main goal is to onboard other creatives. We want to show them what's possible in this space. We want them to come on board, and we want to keep telling stories. Josh and I have been fans of comic books for our whole lives, and now we have a chance of doing something new and interesting. And with Digidorables, I really want to tell stories in fun and new ways. I want to really make it an experience for the community. I want to get the community involved because it's limitless to what I can do, and I'm so excited to just start experimenting. And I'm hoping by people owning their own llamas that it will encourage them to make up stories with their llamas, to get involved. I want to really share the knowledge that I've collected with others, because I love educating, I love sharing, and I love drawing live. So this is all stuff I could do with the community now, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, honestly, one of my favorite things is like when artists draw live, and I don't think we've had that happen really too much. Like I think like certain communities have done that as like kind of one-off events, but it's not something that's regular, and so that's really awesome you're doing that. And thank you for living through the hate, and coming to the dark side over here in the NFTs. Love it. But Hoyt, what's and listen, are we getting mad hate over there? We just vibing. What's going on in your world, boss?
No, man. Well, yeah. I mean, it's all over the place, man. My name's Hoyt Silva. Thank you so much for having me on here. By the way, I really appreciate it, dude. My name's Hoyt Silva. I've been working in comics for a little bit of over 11 years, mostly all mainstream stuff. I spent a couple of years ghosting for a bunch of people from Marvel and DC.
What do you mean ghosting? Can you describe that, or like what that means?
Yeah, so I have a lot of comic book artist friends, and I have the uncanny ability to be able to draw like anyone, because the way that I just learned that you kind of have to learn the why, and if you can learn the why somebody does something, then you can make a lot of choices that they would make because you know why they would make those choices. And so because of that ability and the way that I learned to do things, I am able to sort of do a lot of different styles in art. And because of that, people that I know that have worked for the big two, Image included as well, sometimes they just get behind on their deadlines and schedules. So I jump in to either help with backgrounds, inking, characters. I've done all kinds of stuff, but none of it that I'm credited for, to be honest, which is kind of not great, but the money was great. So I can't really complain because the money was good. But yeah, so but aside from that, I have been working in comics doing my own thing. I've done inks, colors, pencils, lettering, covers, you name it. I've done it for comics design, all that kind of stuff. I've worked with Josh on a number of projects, including doing books ourselves and stuff. One
See the
that
credit
took
for
me. Yeah, I did get credit for those. And yeah, even a book that took me halfway across the world. So I've had like a really great time in comics. I can't say that I've had like a bad time, but I've also been like always a huge adopter of whatever's next. I was an early adopter of Patreon. I was an early adopter of Webtoons. So NFTs being the next logical step, because I see the sea change. I see that like this is definitely the future of everything we're doing here. The connectivity with people and all of that and the community is way stronger, I think, than any other iteration of comics in general, like entertainment industry that we've seen to this point, which is huge. And yeah, man, like so, and because of that, because I like to try a lot of different things and experiment. I end up hitting a lot of just roadblocks in my career because I want to try to do things that sort of other people haven't done before. And a lot of times you run into situations where people only really want like a rinse repeat of something that was already successful versus just trying something new. But I've been like lucky enough in my life to find Josh, who has always like any idea, if ever crazy idea of pitches wherever, I'm like, yeah, man, so about this game with these 250, unique characters that we could get people to play on Discord and do this whole like RPG experience. Like he was all ears for it. And then he said, yeah, so how about NFTs? And I was like, yes, definitely. And we got involved on that tip. So yeah,
I think
it's been true.
Yeah, that one's gonna be like I don't know if we were able to show the characters or not on here, but like, yeah, it's like this mix of like crazy hype beast, like high fashion meets hype beast meets D&D. Like that's
So
those are the
cool.
heroes.
If you're wanting to share your screen, I don't know if that was like a nod to the others of like, hey, I don't know if we're allowed to show it or not. But if you're sharing, so you guys can't see me, but everybody is able to see you on here for that.
Cool.
But it's
Pull it up. I was unprepared. So
yeah, no, you're vibing,
Yeah, no,
Yeah, you guys have
like,
to check it out.
but that'll be like the legendary heroes, which like, and we're gonna do a really low price point on them, like things will blow people away, but for the 1-of-1. But also there'll be really low, like lower run PFPs that support it. So 2,500. So we're in the Trilash Dungeoneers skeleton crew, and then there'll be like different crews that come out over time that all play into like the gameplay. So if you just want to collect it as a PFP, you can. Those legendary 1-of-1 heroes are going to be like super rare, and then it'll plug into their whole. They're going to have their entire own Discord managing all that stuff. And
yeah, because we're gonna run the game out of that. So.
Yeah, and we're gonna do the llamas with Agnes is gonna be all in the Comic Boxels Discord, and we're really the Comic Boxels Discord. We're just really, we're building that community already. It's been amazing the last few days. See hundreds of people come in. So many people like already like, thank God there's a space like this where I can talk about comics. And they're like, I'm looking at the credits. I'm like, these people have done some real shit. Like these are some real like accomplished artists on here. So we're creating the secret space, safe space, and
I'm super excited about that too.
Because also the people who are bringing in for the new Comic Day drops, even though those are simpler, they're going to be the animated panels and all that. They're not nobody. I mean, we got some really big names coming in there: Jimmy Palmiotti, Justin Gray, Andy Kuhn. I mean, these people that worked for not like the main titles like Punisher and TMNT and X-Men and all kinds of books. On top of major, like Jimmy's done a lot of stuff in video games, like him and Justin Gray did the Punisher, one of the main Punisher video games. Jimmy and his wife Amanda Connor, another amazing artist, they basically created the current version of Harley Quinn that everyone is all obsessed with. So and that's like our starting lineup, So we're already starting to hear from the other artists kind of creeping in, like, oh man, I see what you're doing. This is great. So it's like, I'm all about like, I'm not good at like being an evangelist that fights and argues to like convince people to come over. I've never been good at that. I'm more like, that's fine, man. Just go do your thing. We're going to have a little party over here. I believe in this. I've got conviction. I'm sorry you don't get it. I'll see you in 3 years. Yeah. And we'll just, hopefully like when they come over, we're not going to be dicks. We'll like welcome them and
The pioneers, we're the pioneers. That's what we like to say. But for these kind of comics and everything, and with the Boxels, like again, this is my imagination going, and I've glazed the site, but I haven't gone too much in depth. So I'm gonna have probably a bunch of different questions throughout this. But with the Boxels, I just envisioned like getting a package of a handful of comics at one point. Are you guys doing physical stuff with this? Is this going to be mainly digital? What's kind of the outlook from that perspective?
One of the things, and I'm putting these guys on the spot because we haven't even confirmed it. Okay. Like we're like one of the things through part like halfway through our sell through, we're gonna do. I'm gonna do physical sketchbook claim. Like there'll be, if you want to put your address in and they'll have to cover shipping, but like I want to do a sketchbook that highlights all of our artists, and that'll just be made to order. So it'll be super rare. And then over time, absolutely, like, because one thing I've kind of sort of hit me in hindsight, one of the things that's the most difficult for all the new hot PFP projects and NFT projects that get like early success is then they have to do all this fulfillment. And it's like, oh shit, we have to learn a whole new thing. Like, they're smart and they can figure it out, but it's still a stumbling block. And I'm like, oh wait, that's like the easy part for us. I've spent 20 years building that infrastructure. In the last 10 years on Kickstarter, really fine tuning our distribution for super bespoke collections of things like, we'll have 1,000-person Kickstarter that has very specific orders for each one. And we've got that system ready. We've got the sourcing ready for the apparel, for the enamel pins, for the books, for everything. And I'm like, oh shit, like, so that's easy. So we can our hard part for us was making sure we had the right Web3 team, which is why I spent the entire last year just working closely with Web3 companies and creating comics for everyone and lucking into meeting some incredible people and going to every event and conference that I could. And now we have like one of the most kick-ass teams possible for Web3. And then, so it's like now we can like, that other part with like fulfilling the physical stuff, I was like, oh yeah, that's already in my head. That's done. Like, that's not going to be now I want to look forward while people that work for us and with us can handle that stuff here in the next several weeks and months. I want to work on the bigger picture stuff. Like, how do I give Boxel holders access to like, 5 of the biggest Comic Cons in the country just by having their tokens? Or how do we get them, special perks and IRL events and things like that too?
Love it. Okay, so on the screen here, guys, I'm going to be bringing up, just so you go, Agnes, we're looking at the Digidorables, where you got the 3 different characters. You got the one in the suspenders, the one with the flower in the ear, and then the one that's in kind of like the monkey suit here. And actually, I think these are amazing. Like, this is, when I first saw it, because I seen you guys on Steph Pseudo's stream actually the other night, and I was like, yo, these are kind of fire. So walk us through how you came up with the name Digidorables, and then I guess it's kind of like about your art style. Walk us through it.
Yeah, I love all things cute. So for me, it was a must to do something cute. It was really funny because when I got into comics, I thought I had to draw like everyone else. So I actually got in drawing like the very traditional comic book style, but I did all my layouts like really cute. And it was when it was pointed out to me, like, why don't you just draw like that? I'm like, no one's gonna buy it in comics. Everyone wants the superheroes. But luckily, over time, I became a chameleon. Now I could adjust to many cute styles. And I've just been doodling like random animals for a while, and I'm like, man, llamas are really fun to draw. You can tell so many random stories with llamas, and that's really why llamas is the first animal we're launching under Digidorables. I'm like, there's so many funny things because they have little arms, little feet, a long neck.
I love the way you're described.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you could do so many funny things with these guys, and that's why llamas became the Digidorables Genesis animal. And I'm really excited. And Digidorables was actually a name that I just kept playing around with because I'm like, I want something really cute, but not something too cute that like guys wouldn't want to. And I'm like, Digidorables sounds kind of cool, kind of cute. And I actually was like sending the logo to Josh because I'm actually not a logo designer by trade, but I happened to doodle the D into a little llama, and I'm like, Josh, look at this little llama. What do you think? What do you think? And Josh's like, hey, that's pretty cool. And I'm like, Digidorables. So that's really how it came together. And Digidorables is really just my natural style coming to life since I like drawing cute things and I love working with shading. You guys don't want to know how many like layers each layer is, like just like the head, because like there's like the base layer, there's the shading that's the darker, there's the lighter, there's the adjustment, and it's because One, I do get carried away because I'm a workaholic, but I wanted to make sure everything looked to my standards. So I took a lot of time, and when it comes to the traits, there's like over 200, 240 traits. There's a lot of traits because like Josh is like, you're never gonna stop adding traits, and finally I have to like kind of go like this and be like, okay, this has to get done. I have to stop doing what I'm doing, but I'm just.
And then she's like, wait, what if 10 of them were costumes? Yeah.
I just can't help it. I'm super excited, and when I do it, like if you know me through the comic books industry, guys, you guys know that I go very like head first deep dive. So I am definitely deep diving into this project, into Comic Boxels, into Web3 in general.
I love it. I love it. And for Hoyt, are you the master of the heroes of Trilash?
I am.
Okay, listen. So I was staring at this shit earlier, and the character that's like the one with the hoodie with I don't know what the hell's on the backpack. That shit is absolutely a vibe. No cap. So
appreciate it.
He has to just pull up the character art. That's all
I
you
got
need.
him up. I got him up here. I'll pull it.
I think it's super fire. Like I think this whole concept's like really cool though. And I mean, like while you're pulling that up, Josh, like how does it feel? Because I mean, you're bringing all these people together, and I think this really has some legs to it over the next little bit. So how confident are you with the team you put together here?
I'm as close to like not being cocky. It's probably like more and more confident. Trying not to like, because when you get cocky, then the universe will just like slap you back. But now really, I mean, I honestly like, as far as the comic side goes, it was like I'm just waiting for us to flex, like because I know how much amazing talent there is. It's like it was so crazy to me to see how resistant and like antagonistic everyone was towards it, because after being a crypto lurker, like going and doing my comic thing for like I've done my whole life, and then being a crypto lurker for years and years and years. I wrote like a book about Bitcoin in 2018, published as a comic, just so I could contribute something. Finally, I was like, NFTs, like this is now the art can just be the crypto. And then I'm like, finally, after years, can go to the comic world, and they're like, no. So I'll just keep being the weirdo. And now, so like, but I was like, man, you guys don't know, if you've been in indie, especially if you've been in indie comics with any of your own like DIY indie hustle at all, it's like this was like you were sent to a mountain, to a monastery to train for NFTs. Like, and you're a master. Like, you've had to go to events all over the country and bring your inventory, and you have like your operation stuff. You have your support team set up. You know how to source all the merch, and like so. Now that we got in, like, so I met Guy Veter, our Solidity dev, like through Clubhouse back, in the ancient times.
I love how like these random stories pop up. Yeah, our Solidity dev's the guy from Clubhouse. Okay,
met Cray Train just because I was like a Rare Pizzas like following them, and I was like being like, come pick my favorite pizza place in Chicago, and that's how I met her. And then and then through her and other people, like met Best Food Alex and Laura's doing our designs, and just the whole team. So now I'm like, I feel great. And then Potamus,
doing our Discord.
Potamus is like all our homie here. We met him. I met him working directly with Pixel Vault, and so now, I feel really confident, and I'm really excited because I think like there's all this amazing art in the NFT space, but most of it is just like the artist, like the gallery artist. Whereas to be in comics by its nature, by its DNA, is commercial art, even as amazing and as artistic as it gets. So everyone is no one is a comic artist who's not also slightly like more of a commercial artist who's ready to like hustle and produce stuff. So like, man, as far as like the stuff that I think we're gonna crush it with is like the sheer amount of content we're gonna bring, and the bottom, like the baseline of the quality level is like up here for like everything. And then our live streams of art and our game that we have ready to bring for all the engagement is, I think that's gonna kick ass and make a real splash. I hope so.
Banger. No, I agree. All right, Hoyt, we got the heroes. I'm sitting here. I'm getting the happy feet. I'm ready.
Yeah, all right. Yo, I got it pulled up. If you can pull it up on the stream,
Oh wait,
I think
hold
I
on.
can cast it. Or is that not working?
No,
Can I
hold
not
on
do
a
that?
second. Showed not. Oh, there we go. Yep. No, you got her. I'm just an idiot.
Yep.
Yo, bang.
No, you're good. You're good. Boom. All right, cool. I'll run through a few of these like here or whatever. But these are just the heroes. It's just the hero art. There's no backgrounds. The NFTs will be all cool and stuff whenever they're ready to go. But this is just the hero art. So it's just gonna be like a mixture of different classes. I think we have 9 classes total for the game that you'll be able to get of the 250. You know, there's 9 different classes in there, ranging from paladins to clerics to mages to all kinds of stuff. And as you can see, like, it's not your regular fantasy stuff.
I was
Like,
about
we're
to
doing
say the
some-
one that you hold on, go back for a second.
Yeah.
This guy reminds me of like The Walking Dead, but if The Walking Dead was like not realistic.
Yeah, dude. That's a lot of that vibe that I'm going for, man. Like, I just want to do like something different, you know, because I think like when it comes to fantasy, like things have been done to death, you know, like everything's based on like sort of Middle Ages Europe or Roman and all that stuff. And so I just wanted to do something and bring it into today and bring some of those elements in there. So I did, you know, stuff like this, like where I was like, oh man, like, okay, if we're going to do something dope, like how dope would it be to have like a designer mace, you know, a designer flail, you know, like with all these different like designer sort of like YSL, Gucci, Chanel, like whatever on the end of her mace.
Gucci
Like, I was
fanny
like,
pack.
man, that'd be super dope. Yeah, like the Versace fanny pack. Like I was like, this could be super dope, you know, like but like this aesthetic is not available in any kind of fantasy game, period. Like you can't play or buy any kind of fantasy game that has like a modern aesthetic like this. So unless you like go into like cyberpunk or something like that, which is like what people do when they do something modern in the RPG world. So I wanted to just make it classic, but like bring in like all kinds of new stuff. You know, and make it like accessible to just have like all kinds of different stuff, you know. Yeah, like I said, I take huge inspirations from high fashion because I really do like that stuff. I think a lot of creative fashion stuff is way out there, and I just don't see enough of it having this mix, you know. So that's really where I went with it all.
So, Josh, as we're looking through this, and obviously we just looked at Digidorables, for anyone that potentially joined a little bit late, but they're, you know, wanting to just get the kind of quick like TLDR from the, hey, we really like Digidorables, hey, we like, you know, heroes more so. How does it all kind of, you know, combine here?
Yeah, these are all part of our launch slate for Comic Boxels and the Genesis tokens, which are going to open you up to this whole ecosystem. So we're creating a whole like publishing platform to bring comic book creators into the NFT space, but not just kind of like autopilot mindlessly saying, okay, here's the comic book, we're going to tokenize it. It's like, no, these are amazing artists. How do they want to use NFTs to do storytelling in a way that respects the NFT audience and what the NFT audience likes and what excites them? So it's not enough just to like just blindly do the thing. So like, you know, I knew Hoyt had this passion for like the fashion side of it. I know this guy's literally like had his own sneaker prototypes shipped in from China because he was bored.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do this game project. So it's like there actually is a comic book that goes along with this too. We haven't even mentioned that. Like, that's sort of like
the fun part.
That's sort of
that's the fun part.
Secondary.
Because like in this game, like we have the hero side where you'll be able to play as one of the 250 heroes, and that will be recorded in the world history of like the game, you know. And then on the other side, we'll have the PFP stuff, like Josh mentioned, the Dungeoneers, which are essentially like the dungeon workers. You'll be like a minion in the dungeon playing against the player characters to a certain extent. And yeah, Trey's got like some really awesome stuff, and then we've got a comic that sort of ties all that stuff together that we'll be dropping as we go throughout, and story elements like throughout the interactive narrative that, you know, will coincide with what we have going on in the comic, and, you know, the potential that people can make people's legendary heroes can make cameos in the comic as we go along and all that. So like it's all about the storytelling and having fun and doing it communally as well, because I think that's something that like D&D has as well. Dungeons and Dragons is literally like a communal storytelling game, you know. So we wanted to do something like that for Web3, you know, have some kind of like communal storytelling game for that. So
and Agnes is going to do a lot of that stuff, even though she's leading in first with 100% PFP for Digidorables. So for the TLDR new people jumping in, Comic Boxels' first slate is Agnes's Digidorables PFP, which is these adorably cute llamas. We have Degen After Hours, which is going to feature all of your favorite NFT, PFP characters hanging out in a bar, chilling out. The Hoyt's Heroes of Trilash RPG with his partner Trey. And then another category called New Comic Book Day, which is going to literally bring standard comics in, tokenize them, animate certain panels for collectability, and add some original art auctions with them, with those artists that drew those comics. So, and you buy the Genesis Boxels, gets you into the whole ecosystem. Plus, it gets you a free mint of one of these projects. So you can choose to wait and buy one of the projects separately, directly from our different creator launches, or you can just buy in from the get-go with the Comic Boxels launch.
So it's kind of like, just to make a reference, I think similar for anyone that's watching, if you did the Gutter Cat juice serums where they had like the cat, the dog, the rat, and all that kind of stuff, it's like that, but for Comic Boxels, it's got all the other ones in here. So
we're making like our serum first.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we're going backwards. Yeah. It's kind of like, I mean, it kicks off the whole project. As soon as the boxels come in, it allows us to do creator payouts for those, whatever, even though they're randomly minted, we can actually distribute some funds to the creators because they've already done a ton of the work. Like, this isn't like a roadmap of maybe we're thinking about this down the line. Like, the work's mostly done. And then like Agnes has already got all of her llamas done, and she's already working on like comic ideas and things to like actually start doing storytelling with them. So and that gets back to the whole thing of like, that's the part where I won't never say it's easy, but that's simple. That's what we have the systems to do. Like, I've published well over 1,000 comic books, in my days. So we'll definitely be releasing physical products, and I want the online stuff to be as accessible as possible too. Like, so we'll have some sort of token gating on most of the projects, but like, I think like I want you to be able to read like a library of stuff and get invested in the characters and all that. So and whichever thing you vibe with and you want to go with. And we're going to be very diverse. So like, you're not going to necessarily vibe with every project, Yeah, we got
100%.
crazy cute stuff. Like, so it's like sort of like,
you got that man with the snake.
Stuff.
Yeah, if you got a snake fear, definitely going with the llamas instead. I hear you.
Yeah. So, I mean, we will have like straight up like mainstream X-Men, Marvel, Todd McFarlane, Spawn, gritty type stuff too. Like, we're gonna, this is all things comics, and it's, yeah. So, but yeah, that's.
Yeah, we're definitely doing things differently and ambitiously because we all bring skills that we've collected through what we've done over the years, and now we have a really cool way to apply it. So I'm really excited for what we're doing, and we're definitely trying new things, experimenting, and I think that's what Web3 is all about, is seeing what you can do differently, and what you could bring to the table. And I'm really excited. I've known Josh for almost 20 years. I did some cover for him from when he was under Devil's Due, and I'm a huge fan of Hoyt, so I'm seriously excited for everything that we're going to be doing.
So a final question for me, and then we can probably wrap up here, is with, it's the Genesis collection. And that's something you guys have said, and obviously, just kind of like a name for the first thing. Is there any kind of benefits to getting this Genesis collection versus, let's say, 5-6 months down the road, your 10,000 collection, super high price, you guys decide to do like another drop, or have you really kind of looked that far of what the Genesis means? Sorry, you're on mute, Josh.
I think Josh is on mute.
He is on mute.
Yeah.
The Genesis Boxels, there'll be different tiers. So the Genesis Boxels are like the OG, like, that you'll look back on. Like, I'm gonna be working where any project that comes out from us, whatever incentives they have, working as hard as possible with those creators to make sure that like that perk always funnels back to like the Genesis Boxel tokens. So I can't 100% guarantee that's always going to be possible,
right,
but that's the point. And like, I really do. I mean, I want these Genesis Boxels to become like an elite pass into the comic industry for conventions and parties, but they get you discounts on. They'll get you discounts on, pretty much all of our future projects. So like, if something's minting for 0.08 ETH, that might get it to you for 0.07 ETH, and like that really adds up over time. And we'll have, so those, there'll always be something there. But then on a case-by-case basis with the individual creators, they have their Genesis launch under us, and that's going to sort of be a collaboration. So Agnes, like, you'll have incentives for your early adopters. Hoyt, you will, and that's, you guys can talk to that if you want. We haven't fleshed all those details out yet, but we've definitely, like, that's the plan. So, and I know, Agnes, you have a lot of, like, stuff you want to do with the live streams, and also, like, even some cool stuff you want to do to let people include their kids, like, to just know it'll be kid friendly live streams, things like that, educational content.
Yeah, no, I love it. Listen, I'm kind of excited. I haven't really gotten into comics. I remember one of the last times I was really kind of, like, involved is I worked as a community relations person, and we had to go to, like, different events, and it was like the free comic day, if you guys remember, like, those ones that the comic shops have. And so I had to, like, go and do, like, radio remote stuff, and everybody was out front wearing the, Batman, Superman outfits, all that kind of stuff. And it's cool to see this kind of taking life, and I think reinvigorating stuff really for NFTs. And actually, with that, and this is how we'll kind of wrap it up. We can go to kind of each of you with this. Agnes, we'll start with you. What do you think that NFTs are going to mean for people that are in the comic industry?
I think the biggest thing it's going to mean is just new ways for them to be creative and tell stories and to reach new communities. Actually, even to build communities. Like, honestly, it's almost endless. This question can go on forever. So I would say anything and everything. It's just, I think it can really empower creatives.
For sure. And then Hoyt, how about yourself?
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same line, man. I think, like, the way comics have moved in the mainstream is that they very much are looking for people to promote them and people to work with that will help them continue to get their brand off the ground and all of that. And they've sort of they've created a distance between the creator and the public to a certain extent. And sort of NFTs have circumnavigated that completely, just all the way around, that we've now got a direct tap with people who can help our dreams come true and really, like, get down with us on these projects, and if they really believe in it, like, and help us get it off the ground. And I think that's just, like, major, man. I think that's, like, so huge on so many fronts. So yeah, that's what I think NFTs mean, is just that connection is amazing. So.
And then Josh, how about yourself?
Everything they said, plus it's really, like, it's just going to increase the opportunity they have to, if they choose to use it, and like, it's just like Kickstarter did, I mean, anyone who really has embraced that, it's kind of changed their lives, and what they're able to do without having to rely necessarily on the companies every time. NFTs just take that to, like, the 10th degree or the nth degree. So I do have to say, man, because we did this the last time, we, like, ended the interview about the Elite Apes and punks too, talking about. The last second I mentioned Trailer Park Boys.
Oh, yeah.
We do, like, so my traditional comic book company, Devil's Due Publishing, we have the license. We publish Trailer Park Boys comics, and so I do have the rights for them for NFTs. So that is going to be one of the comics we're tokenizing and bringing in as part of that new Comic Day drop. I was mentioning all the creators and everything, and I forgot to mention, like, the brand, like, that we have in there. Yeah, like, you'll definitely want to check that one out too. And actually, Hoyt did a story in the first Trailer Park Boys book we did about they got trapped in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yo, guys, listen, if you want to go check out Comic Boxels on Twitter, the link's down there. Agnes, Hoyt, Josh, listen, guys, thank you so much for coming on. Excited to see how this kind of unfolds, and 5-10 years down the line, what impacts you guys have made on the industry.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it, dude. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for being here.
Okay. We'll talk soon, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace, peace. Yeah, oh, there it goes. There it be. Sheesh. Yo, Pickle, I'll ask him that question in a little bit. I'll fire him in the DMs because I agree. You never know. But, guys, that's going to be it for me. I appreciate you tuning in. Hell yeah. Enjoy your night. We'll chat soon. Peace, peace.
You don't know me, despite all your data says. These ads I confess, they must know.